But first, he was a national security advisor to 4 presidents and now serves as an on-air consultant for ABC News. Our friend Richard Clark is right here. Richard Clark. How are you, my friend? Great to see you. And, of course, you know a lot about bin Laden, and now we all know a lot more than we did even a week ago. I mean, yes, last week was about getting him, and this week was about finding what kind of life he lived. He dyed his beard, which is very Hollywood, drank Coca-Cola.
A lot of it.
A lot of Coca-Cola, had that pot garden.
He did have a pot garden.
Had a pot garden and porn.
A lot of it.
I'm beginning to think this guy's some sort of hypocritical prick.
You think?
I mean, what do you make of that, that he was...
Well, he was 5 years in this one room. You know, they initially said, we found him in a mansion, and then we saw pictures of it, and it was a shithole.
Right.
So, and he apparently stayed on the 3rd floor and, you know, ordered wives up. Right. You know, he had 3 wives. And if you look at the ABC pictures, because ABC got in and took pictures, you know, what's the first thing you see on the shelf? Personal lubricant. Big jar. So, you know, if you're 5 years basically in one room, death to America only goes so far.
Yeah. Right. Now, but do you think the people who followed him will turn on him now when they see that he was such a hypocrite?
Oh, no, they won't believe it.
Really?
No, no. It's well, some of them don't believe he's dead, right, even though Al-Qaeda has said he's dead. But all these pictures of him with the white beard watching himself on Al Jazeera,
right, they
think that's all made up. The Middle East believes in conspiracy theories anyway. Right. If you think we believe in conspiracy theories in this country, in the Middle East, it's bread and butter.
But some things are undeniable, like he orders other people to their deaths in suicide missions, but he never goes himself. We found out also this week that he never had a cell phone or a computer link because you could trace them, and also his #2 man. But the #3 Al-Qaeda guy, that's why the #3 Al-Qaeda guy kept getting killed.
Oh, it's like being the guy in red on Star Trek, you know.
Right.
We got a lot of them.
Yeah.
We went through a lot of #3s.
That's right. #3 always had a #2 in his pants.
You don't want to be the #3.
But there was an interesting article in the Washington Post this week. They said they talked to some high-level people in our government who say getting bin Laden really is the end game for Afghanistan, that this is our exit strategy and it changes everything. Is that true, you think?
No, I don't. The president's going to announce next month that we're taking 5,000 troops out of Afghanistan over the course of the next few months, so that he can say we're on the road out. But we're not on the road out. And I think we'll have U.S. troops throughout his presidency. Even if he gets reelected, we'll probably have U.S. troops there at some number, because the Afghans are such pathetic, organized allies. Right. Yeah, they're only, you know, the only worse ally you could have is Pakistan.
And right, because I mean, bin Laden must have had support from. I mean, what do you think the level of support he had? Where was that coming from? How high up?
I think there was a group of retired intelligence people, retired military intelligence people, who were supporting him and getting him the money, getting him the protective cover. He thought he was safe. I mean, if you look at the defenses of that villa, there weren't any. Why? Because he thought he'd get a phone call.
Right.
And he had money sewn into his jacket and phone numbers to call and sewn into his jacket. He thought he'd get tipped.
And Pakistan acts very angry at us that we did this, and they say, you know, we're going to retaliate if you do it again. What could they possibly do?
Well, all of our supplies to Afghanistan go through Pakistan. So they kind of have us by the short hairs.
I see.
And every once in a while they pull on them.
Once again, your technical State Department jargon.
20 years a diplomat, yeah.
Right. And let's show the picture, because you probably know this picture well. This is the people now. That's the famous picture we see, them looking at the raid. Much of it has been made of why Hillary is the one with her hand to her mouth. She looks like, you know, she just walked in on Bill with the maid. But there she acts more surprised. You, before 9/11, were pretty much our whole anti-terrorism department.
Well, I was trying to kill him for 5 years before 9/11.
Right. And now we have an amazing bureaucracy.
That's huge.
It's like, I think since 9/11, we've added 33 different buildings, the size of 3 different Pentagons, which, of course, is already the biggest office building in the world.
Yeah, it's bloated. It's terribly bloated. And maybe we can take the death of bin Laden as an occasion to cut some of it back. Because it's a profit industry for a lot of these people. They're making money hand over fist. The salaries of a lot of these outsourced companies, the top people in these outsourced companies are making a heck of a lot of money. And we have people tripping over each other doing the same job. When I was there, we didn't have enough people. But it's the pendulum swinging from one end to the other. We got to cut it back.
And the money, I mean, you know what I was shocked to find out is that Pakistan actually has lobbyists.
Americans, that they pay.
How can that even be legal, that a foreign country hires lobbyists?
They all have lobbyists. But Pakistan's are very good because they've gotten $20 billion, allegedly to fight the war on terror. That's a pretty good lobbyist. Especially
since 9/11.
Yeah, and especially since they're taking the money that they're supposedly fighting terrorism with, and they're building nuclear bombs with it.
Right.
And we don't notice, we don't do accounting, we don't.
Well,
they have 100 nuclear bombs.
There's no incentive. I mean, if we're giving them money to find bin Laden, of course, the last thing in the world they want to do is find bin Laden.
Exactly.
Why can't we have a system where we have a results-based foreign aid? If you find bin Laden, then we'll give you $11 billion.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Would that ever happen?
That would be a good idea, but instead, they've built 100 nuclear bombs, and they're on their way to 200. I mean, they're cranking out nuclear bombs like sausages.
Right.
And there's apparently nothing we can do about it. Their whole worldview is, India, must kill India. And that's why they started the Taliban. They started the Taliban to give them a base in Afghanistan so the Indians wouldn't be there. They're paranoid, and they're such pathological liars, they don't even know when they're lying anymore.
You're talking about the Pakistanis?
Pakistanis.
Okay, just to make that sure. Richard Clark, thank you for being here as always. Very insightful. We'll see you on our panel soon, I hope. All right, let's meet our panel tonight.